guys, welcome to the Sports Note for Thursday, November 17th. If I sound a little subdued, today's subject matter is certainly something I really don't want to have to talk about. And I'm actually going to be moving this into a little bit better position to discuss this. We all by now have seen or heard about the tragedy that occurred in Virginia over the weekend involving actually a former University of Virginia football player who essentially shot into a crowd or was planning to shoot into a crowd, ended up killing three active members of the Virginia Cavalier football team and injuring two more. This is actually anything over two is considered a mass shooting, and now if you go to the Sports Note, you'll see that it was posted today, but I originally started writing this back on Tuesday and did a little bit of research into it. At the time of that, at the time I started writing the piece, at that very moment, there had already been 25 mass shootings in this country through, at that point, it was the first 15 days of November, so exactly half the month. There have been 585 of them nationwide that are recorded, and who knows if there's others that haven't been. This is something that we as a country used to put a lot more stock in. We remember Virginia Tech. We remember Las Vegas at the Jason Aldean concert a few years ago. It's something that has gone from tragedy to I don't want to say afterthought, but it's now sidebar on your newscast, and it's off to the side in smaller windows in your on your news sites, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, your Fox News, wherever you get your news from. It's unless it's a massive catastrophe, heaven forbid, it's something that doesn't get a ton of run. This was definitely a breaking news story on ESPN over the weekend, and as we see more information coming out, the worse it's getting. The original story saw Christopher Darnell Jones. I'm sorry. Let me back up there. Yes, Christopher Jones who's now currently in custody with the Charlottesville police, and you got to feel for those people because this is the second national tragedy for them, and in the last few years, going back to the Black Lives Matter protests where somebody just steamrolled through there with a moving vehicle. And we all know who was the perpetrator of that, but that's neither here nor there, at least for the moment here in this conversation. But with the specifics still coming to light, Jones ended up killing three now former players: junior wide receiver Lavelle Davis Jr., junior wide receiver Devin Chandler, and junior front seven defensive lineman / linebacker Deshaun Perry. The even more, I don't want to say horrific thing because of the nature of what happened, Jones was already on the radar of Charlottesville police as he was arrested without incident, and he was previously charged with a misdemeanor in February of 2021 for carrying a concealed weapon. Now, Virginia does have a concealed carry law in place with a valid permit, whether he didn't have a proper permit or what have you. I didn't delve that much into that, but there was also another part of the story that he was being investigated by campus authorities for hazing students, but none of the witnesses were willing to cooperate, and that investigation was closed without really much really taking place at all. So for the fact of Jones having two previous legal incidents, for lack of a better term, and then now going ahead and he's now he's now facing triple homicide at that point, um, makes this even worse. Virginia yesterday already announced that they will be canceling their home finale against Coastal Carolina on Saturday, and the talk of the Commonwealth Cup rivalry matchup against Virginia Tech is still up in the air. Now, neither one of those teams are having any great years. Virginia Tech is 2-8. The Cavaliers are 3-7. Both are 1-6. And sitting in the bottom of the ACC's Coastal Division. Neither one has any chance of becoming bowl eligible, even if they, even if Virginia wins out, they're going to be 5-7. You need to have at least 6 to get to a bowl. Even though the Cavaliers narrowly upset number 17 North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, they also have not won since beating Georgia Tech 16-9 back on the 20th. And then there was that historically bad drubbing to Pitt this past week where they lost 37-7. The drubbing, the final score wasn't what was historic. It was the fact that Virginia threw 2 pick sixes on their first 2 offensive plays from scrimmage. But again, none of that is neither here nor there. For what it's worth, Coastal Carolina is 9-1. They're already headed to a bowl themselves. They could actually be, playing themselves into a marquee, potentially New Year's Day game. Certainly, won't get into the New Year's Six, but it's definitely something that the Chanticleers don't have really a dog in the race here, and they have no problem canceling this game. Not even so much to be able to keep their players healthy, but kudos to both programs for deciding not to go through with this Saturday's game. And yet, the funny thing is, there's a large majority of the population. I'll let you read between the lines with my viewpoints on this channel. Exactly who I'm directing that at. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a clue. It matches the color of the sign behind me, even though there's a glare to the left side of it, and also one of the plastic bags that you see over my left shoulder. But they'll tell you there's no gun violence problem in this country. 585 mass shootings, and 25 halfway through the month may make you think twice about that, but obviously nothing is going to get them to think. Hey, listen, there's no reason that a private citizen should be owning an AR-15 or an assault weapon or anything of that nature. If they want hunting rifles or shotguns or handguns, fine. There needs to be a limit as to how many they can own, and certain ones, like if they have, like if a serviceman, retires, I could fully understand them wanting to possibly, retain their weapon or something like that. Just make sure it's decommissioned. I can absolutely understand somebody saying, hey Jim, well, they can always just go ahead and get new parts and have that gun repaired. But yeah, it's the fact of the matter is they're actually modifying the weapon to put it back into service after it would have been decommissioned or something of that nature, when they left the service or retired from whatever law enforcement or military that would sanction them to have such a weapon. The idea that we have this story just about every day in this country at some capacity, and this is still something that we've not seen before. Here's the reason why. And I'm sorry about that little jump cut, but I had to go answer the door here at the office. But also in an update to the story that came down from ESPN within the course of the last 90 minutes, Jones, the shooter, has been charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder, use of a firearm in commission of a felony. They also charged him with 2 counts of malicious wounding and additional gun-related charges related to the shooting of the 2 players who were not killed. Now, if there's a I don't want to say a silver lining, it's definitely not anywhere close to that. But one of the individuals that Jones wounded was another Virginia Tech, another Virginia roster member, which was running back Mike Hollins. Now, Hollins was actually shot in the back and is going to need numerous months worth of rehabilitation. But Hollins actually ended up running back to the bus to try and get people off the bus, as it was reported that Jones was actually aiming at people and not shooting randomly. So he was targeting people with that. So I can definitely see where second-degree murder would be on the table. But the good thing for Hollins is that he is expected to recover. But again, it is going to take quite a while, and he does have quite a bit of eligibility left. Let me see if I can actually find the actual part of the story here, because he did not play at all with the COVID shortened season. So I think he's still got at least another year, if not 2, worth of eligibility in this, and I cannot find the exact portion of the. I cannot find that portion of the article. I just had it and scrolled away from it. Actually, here it is. It's a quote, according to the ESPN article. Doctors have told Brenda, his mother, that Mike will need months of rehabilitation during his recovery. He won't be able to lift anything for 3 months. She said he is determined to return to the football field. He has at least 1 season of eligibility remaining. He did not play any games during the COVID-19 interrupted season of 2020. So this could be very promising if the surgery and the rehab goes well. That I would love to be able to see as a quasi Virginia fan. I am a little bit more of a fair weather. When Virginia's good, I will follow them a little bit more. But I would love to be able to see Mike Hollins kind of get back on the field here, certainly for his senior season. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment box below. Do we actually start thinking of this as more just part of society anymore? How do we go about fixing this? And quite honestly, what more has to happen before the other side of the aisle, let's be honest, wakes up and realizes, yeah, we've got a gun problem in this country. So I will talk to you guys here very, very soon. I should hopefully have another piece up here in the next few days. And then next Friday, the 25th, we will be going live on the Big Rican channel for the Ohio State and Michigan preview. And we might have a little surprise here. It might be a little bit off format, but we are talking about possibly doing a game day type show that day. We're gonna have some of our usual guests on, but that's still something that we're working on. And we hope that all of you guys will join us there. And also, next episode of the Wise Guys Show is slated right now for Sunday night, December 4th. Yes, that day. We will probably do something later on in the night, so you probably won't get a Instant Browns React that night, because we're going to get a Wise Guys Show, and I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out exactly why. So we will see you guys very soon. Take care and be safe.